Well, we're hungry for comedy. We're hungry for humor. And we're going to get some from our guests coming into the studio. We have the monologist and comedian Steve Solomon, who is going to be talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon. Of course, Rabbi Sol, who was in his own one-man show off-Broadway just a couple of days ago, Shalom Dammit, an evening with Rabbi Sol Solomon. And so I thought it would be really great to get these two guys together, the two Solomons, as it were, to talk about doing theater and one-man shows and comedy and all that sort of thing. Steve Solomon's show, by the way, is called My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in Therapy. And he's bringing it back to the New York area on April 1st. He's going to be at the Walt Whitman Theater of Brooklyn College on that afternoon. It's a matinee, 2 o'clock at Brooklyn College on April 1st, April Fool's Day. You can find out more information at stevesolomoncomedy.com or brooklyncenteronline.org for tickets. But, enough of that. Let me bring Rabbi Sol in here and also Steve Solomon. Shalom, damn it, this is Rabbi Sol Solomon. So happy to be with you here in the neighborhood as I am virtually every week. So happy and thankful to be out of the wonderful state of New York where I just did my show and to be talking to someone who has done his own one-person show. He did it a few years ago off-Broadway. He's been doing it dozens, hundreds of places ever since. It's called My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in Therapy. And he is Steve Solomon, and God willing, we have him on the telephone with us. Mr. Solomon, are you there?
Hey, Rabbi, what's doing?
Shalom, shalom, Mr. Solomon. So let me ask you a question. Do you identify yourself as Jewish, as Italian, or both? Where does your religious conviction lie?
You're right. Yes, it does.
Okay, I get it.
Rabbi, listen to me. Let me tell you something. We don't differentiate. My family's half Italian, half Jewish. I learned something about it, though. By the way, I did the show it ran for 2 years on the Great White Way in New York. It's been very successful. There are now 4 productions running around the world. South Africa, Australia, Toronto. So it's been busy. We're on our 2000th performance right now. And I'm looking forward to coming back to Brooklyn College. But you asked me about the family. Jews and Italians are very similar. With Jewish people ask questions. Why? How come? How much? When? Who? What? Where? How? My Italian family, we don't know nothing. We didn't see nothing. We don't know. Whatever. No, we don't know.
Well, but all right, you brought up so many things in that little opening monologue right there that I need to delve into. First of all, well, wait a minute. All right, back to the religion first. What do you celebrate? Do you celebrate Columbus Day and or Passover, Hanukkah, Yom Kippur? What?
Yes.
You're not going to give me all of them. No, do you celebrate?
All of them.
You do. Okay.
If you're asking me if I was bar mitzvah, I was bar mitzvah. My mother didn't care. My Italian family didn't care. My Italian cousins beat me up anyway, so it didn't matter. But we celebrated everything.
Are you circumcised?
Yeah, I have photographs to prove it if you'd like to buy some.
Well, perhaps my dear wife Miriam Libby would be interested. We'll talk. But I'm just checking. I want to see where you are on this sliding scale of religiosity, you see. But the other question is, you said 2 years in New York. You were off Broadway. I don't think the show was on Broadway, was it?
We started at one of the Schubert theaters, and we moved to a little place called the West Side Theater, which was beautiful, on 43rd Street. Yeah. But it was a wonderful success. We closed it because we started touring, and it's been touring successfully since 2008.
Now, here's my question. How can you have 4 shows? Is it like Defending the Caveman, where you have other people playing you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rabbi, that's exactly what it is. I have 4 other people playing my part, and occasionally I'll do the production, but when I found out that they wanted the show in Brooklyn, I'm a Brooklyn boy. I was born and raised in Sheepshead Bay, and I said, I'm coming home to do the show, so I agreed to do it in Brooklyn.
That's lovely. That's wonderful. And let me ask, what was it like watching and auditioning other people to play you?
It was impossible. You got to remember something. First of all, we do 20 different characters in the show. Everybody from, my daughter has a baby, she talks like this, to my sister, the smoker, who talks like this.
Yeah.
And I had to find actors and comics who could handle all those ranges of voices. And it was pretty tough.
But eventually you did. You found people who, and so there's a person right now doing your show in Australia?
Australia opens again in October. There's a person right now in South Africa doing it.
That's fantastic. That's just, I mean, that is the ideal. Did you have, when you first put this show together, did you have any idea, any inkling that it would have these kinds of legs, as it were?
No, I had no idea, Rabbi. Quite frankly, we were shocked. But it started to grow and grow and grow, even though the critics were so about the show. I learned a long time ago that the critics really don't represent the public. We've done the show for almost 750,000 people already,
wow.
And we've never had a complaint yet.
So can I ask, when you got those bad, or no, they weren't bad reviews, I remember, they were actually pretty decent reviews, they were just kind of You know, if you're going up against Lion King, if you're going up against other things, the critics are not going to go, oh, whoa, this is the newest, most exciting thing. It's going to like, oh, it's a nice, humorous one-man show. But you get reviews that aren't what they would call their money reviews. And, of course, money is the most important thing to my tribe. How do you get over that? How do you look at those reviews and sigh and go, all right, look, we're doing this anyway. We're going to go forward, and we're going to be excited about it. How do you market? How do you get over that hump?
It's not a hump. Screw the critics. I don't care.
Wow.
It doesn't matter to me. You know what? Because quite frankly, when we first opened, the New York Times said the show was really a waste of time. And then after we celebrated one full year in New York, they all started reconsidering. CBS News said that I had perfect comic timing. NBC said it was don't miss. WOR said it was a smash. I mean, so it doesn't mean anything because the public is all that it counts.
Well, wait a minute. That's not fair because now you're saying the critics, you're quoting all the critics who loved you. So now you are saying that the critics do mean something. It's just when they say you're wonderful, you love it.
Those positive critiques were very nice to have, and they were nice little feathers to put on the hat, but they didn't change the way the show was successful. They never changed it. The show grew, mounted, and more of my friends and family got involved in it. There's now over 30 characters in each production.
Wow.
And they love it. I mean, we do the show in Brooklyn, and they sell out. We do the show in Skokie, Illinois, and they sell out.
Well,
people identify with all the characters.
So wait a minute. Can I ask, so you had this thing, how do you market then? If you have some decent reviews, you did. What launched it? What made you run a year and then 2 years, whereas other shows did not have that thing, that kismet, that chemistry? How did you get to be the one that kind of wins the lotto of the one-person off-Broadway show? What did you do?
I had Mazel, Hashem to tell me. What do you want? Listen, I got to tell you, it's word of mouth, Rabbi. That's the way it is, and it works so well.
So, and did you particularly do target advertising also, and target marketing, and groups and synagogues and Italian community centers, or what? What was your game plan?
Yeah, we did it all. We did it all, and that kind of marketing, the television marketing, everything like that, it works because if people say, "What a great title! I hope the show is good," and then they come see it on a Monday, and then they bring everybody else back on a Friday. And the rest is history. I mean, that's the way it's been going. Look, people can say, well, it's just stand up in front of a set. You know what? There's a script, there are lighting cues, there are sound cues, there's 20 different characters, and the people just walk out of there wiping tears in their eyes saying, my God, that was my uncle. That was the guy that stopped me on the street. That was my doctor. That's what happened to me at the airport. And that's it. That's why it works. You identify with people in the show.
Now, let me ask also, okay, so you've got this show, it runs off-Broadway, then you start taking it around to places like Brooklyn and Skokie and Los Angeles and I'm sure Florida and places like that. But how do you then make the leap to places like South Africa and Australia? How do you break that barrier? How do you let people know that this thing is here and they should have it there?
There are a lot of producers around the world that do everything from Annie to Fiddler on the Roof. And they contact you. They hear about it. Listen, a lot of people have heard about the show all around the world, from England to every place. And it's a good product, and it does well in other markets and other cultures. So they license it. And as the author of the show, they contact me on a regular basis, and they say, listen, we want to do this, we want to do that. And it works. It works. Sold out all year this year in South Africa.
Oh,
it's great in Toronto.
Fantastic. And have you done it in Italy?
No, oddly enough, I have not done it in Italy. We haven't translated it to a foreign language yet. Although, wait, and you'll be pleased about this, Rabbi.
Yes?
We're negotiating to do it in Tel Aviv.
About time. What the hell were you waiting for?
We're sitting on our ass. We're scratching our ass waiting for some shekels, Tatala.
Aren't we all, let me tell you. We're talking with Steve Solomon, who is the author and creator and star. Usually, there are other stars who do it around the world, but you can see the original, the one and only Steve Solomon, doing My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in Therapy, April 1st, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, at Brooklyn College's Walt Whitman Theater. Go to SteveSolomonComedy.com for more information, or to buy tickets, you can do that at BrooklynCenterOnline.org. Let's get a little more general, though, with Mr. Solomon while we have him on the phone. I'm wondering, who were your influences as a writer and a comedian? Who did you grow up listening to and idolizing as far as writing and comedy?
Malcolm X.
Are you not kidding?
No, what do you call it? Jonathan Winters was a tremendous influence. I don't think your audience would remember him, but he was the greatest guy. George Carlin, I knew him. I worked with him.
Wait a minute. You knew George Carlin?
I knew George Carlin.
How did you know George Carlin?
We had the same rabbi.
Now stop it. Give me a damn... no, actually, it's fine that you're doing punchlines here, but no, I'm actually curious. He's one of my idols, even though he's not Jewish.
Yeah, we worked together in Albany at the Knickerbocker Arena. I opened for him twice, and we stayed friendly, and that was it. It was a great guy, terrific guy.
That's wonderful to hear. I mean, I did not know that you knew him personally. Was he straight and sober then, or was he doing lines of things in the dressing room?
We're all very different off stage.
Oh dear.
We're all, and I don't remember him ever doing drugs, but we were all very different off stage.
So what do you like off stage?
I like a 21-year-old named Lucy with a good set of titties.
Oh my God! Oh, Gewalt! It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, 10:53 in the morning here, and you use the T
By
word.
you.
Oh, no, that's right. It's the afternoon.
You.
Yeah, you're right.
By you.
So in an hour and a half, I can say titties too. All right, I'm glad
you
to
can
hear
say that.
Thank you. Are you married? Do you have kids?
I have two kids, and my lady has 2 kids. And occasionally we get the privilege of getting them all together. My son lives in Albany. My daughter lives out on Long Island.
Mit Mazel.
And it's terrific. They're really they're great kids, and it's a lot of fun. And occasionally, when I'm traveling around the country, I'll send them tickets to meet with me, and it's good. They're all in the show.
Well, of course. Did they, when they first saw the show, did they object to any of the characterizations of them, or they would just laugh?
Yeah, absolutely, Rabbi. My daughter wanted me to take out a line. There's a line where my friend says, Steve, she's spoiled. I say, no, she's supposed to smell like that.
That's a funny line. And she didn't like that.
She didn't like that.
Did you leave it in?
It at all. No, I took it out.
That's what
I took
she
it
said.
out. Listen, my family took me to court to have my artistic license revoked.
Oh, but I have a rim shot sound effect on here somewhere that I was using when I interviewed Shecky Green, of all people. Well, not of all people, of Shecky Green.
I know Shecky well. I know Shecky very well.
Is he a nice? He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's a wild card. He's a nice man, good to know on a personal level, but he's a wild card. You never know what he's going to do on stage. This
is true. That's why he's still at it. And he's still, I watch him on YouTube, and he still makes me laugh. Goddammit, that's not always easy to do with my my pains and my pills and my hernia. But let me ask. Speaking of wild cards, What, since you have physically done the show hundreds and hundreds of times, what are some of the unexpected things that have happened while you've been doing My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in Therapy?
Old people fart on the front row.
This is good. I'm sure they fart in the back row, you just can't hear it.
Yeah, but that's happened a couple of times, and sometimes it's brilliantly loud, and sometimes it's
Oh my God, something stinks terribly. God in heaven.
Do you acknowledge or do you move on? I mean, if everybody hears it, do you have to sort of stop and make a joke, or what do you do?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. Listen, a comic's a comic. I stop, I walk to the edge of the stage, and I say, no one heard that.
That's good.
And then I walk back. So.
And what about other things besides flatulence? Any deaths in the audience? Anybody coming up on stage? Anybody? What?
In South Florida, it is not uncommon for people to black out. And I've had people pass out in the first row. It's always distracting to the show.
No kidding.
And you hear, Melty got in your Melty got in your milk. And so you need to stop the show and get the stretcher and take them out.
Well, I will say, I have to say that in the first afternoon that I did my own show, Shalom Dammit, at the Richmond Shepherd Theater just last week. The first matinee was going okay, and then in intermission, some old guy, takes the wrong stair, boom, down he goes, and then they're talking about the ambulance, and they're talking, does he want a stretcher, is he alright, blah, blah, blah. He was fine, he ended up leaving at intermission, son of a bitch, couldn't stay for the next hour, but, we kind of lost the momentum there after that. When someone nearly dies in your show, it is hard to get the audience back, I have to say that.
It's really hard to get the audience back. It's really tough, especially when they die. And then when your agent calls and said, how did it go? And you say, I'm killing them.
Oh, I need my rim show. You know what? I'm going to do this. I know I only...
Rabbi, don't bother. Sit. You'll trip over your talus. Don't do that.
All right, well, hold on. If you make another joke like that, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to warn you now. I'm going to find the website as we speak. And then if you make another joke that I have to do this, I will hit that rim shot. So that's basically, it's not a rim shot, it's a warning shot, basically, to you. So, we are talking with Steve Solomon. So let me ask, with all the stuff that you are doing with this show, have you done other shows, besides other theatrical type shows, stand-up, what?
Absolutely, Rabbi. There's My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm Still in Therapy, which tours the world.
Oh.
And there's My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm Home for the Holidays, which tours November through January. So there were 3 shows, and the holiday show is just as big a hit as the original show.
Now, how do you keep all these different monologues in mind? How do you not confuse, one with the other, all that memorization? Is it just natural for you?
I pray before each show.
Okay.
It works. I mean, ask any really good comic or actor. They'll tell you. I get on stage, I look at the set, I rehearse once or twice beforehand, and then it just happens. It's good. But you see, a good comic, Rabbi, and I'm sure you know this,
yes.
It comes off script. We come off script occasionally, and we add things to the show, and it's a lot of fun. And that makes it a surprise because the audience knows that that's real live theater, and it works. It's hysterical. I'm looking forward to coming back to the Brooklyn Center for the Arts. I think it's the Walt Whitman Theater down at Brooklyn College.
Mm-hmm.
On I think it's April 1st. I'm looking forward to it. It's my first time there.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing Steve Solomon at the Brooklyn Center, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Walt Whitman Theater of Brooklyn College. What?
In My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in Therapy, the original show.
Original show? How long ago was it in New York? It feels about 10 years, is it? Or when did you do it?
No, 2006 to 2008.
Oh, it was that recently?
We won 3 awards there. Very nice.
What awards did you win?
We won Favorite New Play, Audience Award from Broadway.com, and we won one of the Critics Circle Awards. I forgot what that's called.
Our critics, very nice. Mazel Miklik.
Thank you. whatever you wish me, I hope it happens to you.
Thank you. Well, let me ask one last question then of Steve Solomon. When you pray, do you pray to Hashem or to Jesus?
I pray that Hashem talks with Jesus, Jesus talks with Hashem, and they both are good to good people. Good people deserve to be good. The rest of the world, chum and red.
I was going to hit a rim shot after whatever that answer was, but it was such a nice answer, I'm going to spare you the instant rim shot. That's the kind of good rabbi that I am.
Rabbi, I have to be rude. I got a show at 1 o'clock, and things are looking tight here, and everybody's waving to me backstage saying, get on that stage.
Well, go out there, do a wonderful show. Thank you so much for being in the neighborhood. Steve Solomon, go with Hashem. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Bye-bye. Shalom to you. Bye-bye. Well, Steve Solomon in My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in therapy. April 1st in Brooklyn. Or if you miss it there, you have to go all the way to South Africa to see somebody else do it. So see it in Brooklyn. Makes a lot more sense to do it that way. I'm Rabbi Sol Solomon. You're listening to Dave's Gone By. It's 11 o'clock in the morning here, Mountain Time at the University of Northern Colorado. UNCradio.com is the place that you are listening to me. Good morning.